This is Tammy. She'll be recording me today. When I was making my college decision, I was lucky enough to have my tuition paid for at any public university in Texas because of the Texas Tomorrow Fund that my parents set up for me as a child. And so because of this, I always knew that I wanted to go to college. I knew that that was just what was coming next in my life. But today, in our society, not everyone is able to attend universities because of the cost. And so I'm going to be talking to you today about why people are unable to attend college and how we are going to help them get to college by providing a free tuition for them. So what are some factors in making our college decision? There are so many reasons why college is very important. So when we're thinking about how we're going to decide what college we go to, academic scores and readiness, family background, money, loans, time, location, all of these things are major factors in where we decide to go to school. But what I'm really going to focus on today are money and loans, because research is showing now that these are the reasons that are really keeping students from going to college in the first place, from applying to college, and dropping out of college, because we know that college has become increasingly expensive. But I also want to talk to you about why it is super important that we find a way to get this education. It is incredibly crucial and vital to our future success in promotions and our higher paying jobs that will be made available to us with college educations, as well as knowledge can help break that poverty cycle, which is going to be a big point in today's speech. We really want to think about how we can get students out of that generational poverty. They may be the first student out of their family to ever attend college, so we want to encourage them to have ways and means to get there. Also, college can help boost our self-confidence, give us hope for a better future, and provides a competitive edge in the job market and helps us get jobs. So, challenges of college. Although all the benefits after college are wonderful, we know that getting to college can be a real struggle for most of our society, I would say. In the book, The Price of Civilization, Jeffrey Sachs states that the biggest reason why students drop out of college is due to they can't afford the high cost of tuition. And so this tuition we see not only it causes people to drop out of school, but really keeps them from applying in the first place or going to college. And so students from low-income households are unable to attend most universities because they're not encouraged or motivated as children to get there because they don't have the means of paying for it. And so those people that can't afford it, that want to go, then take out loans, which end up swamping them for the rest of their lives. And we see that some loans can end up being 3 times the amount of a car payment a month, and that is an incredible amount that people can't afford, even with that job that they've gotten with their college degree. And so we see a quote from Christine Hill, she's a blogger about financial college things, and she said, "I was overconfident that my student loan debt would pale in comparison to the lucrative writing career I would have after graduation. Now I'm paying for that decision in more ways than I ever imagined." And so we see that loans really affect people's lives and that they're really bogging down people, which causes them also to not want to attend college. So, today we're going to talk about, in order to provide a low socioeconomic student with a chance to break that cycle of poverty, we really need to provide a free public college education to these students and provide that free tuition. And so this is going to be what this speech is really going to be about, and I hope to convince all of you that in the next election that you vote in, maybe this is something that you need to be looking out for. Are we providing schooling for students that may not have a means of paying for it? And so, why public tuition should be free? The cost of making all public higher education free in America would be between $15 and $30 billion. And so before you tune me out, I know this sounds like a ton of money, and it is. But if you think about it, all of this money that we are paying through taxes and going to other things that may not matter as much could be going towards providing tuition payments for these students. So yes, that money is a large, large sum that we can't even grasp. But we know that right now, only 30% of Americans that attend college graduate. 30%. And a lot of that is because of those loans and because of the money, and they can't afford school. And so the unemployment rate would be reduced if we were able to get more graduates into school, get them through school all the way. And we'd know that this would leave fewer people depending on government assistance for living. So that would be another cut cost in that area. Also, we'd have a more educated workforce and citizens, which would lead to more efficient work rooms and things and less overtime hours. All of these would be reducing costs in other places. So yes, you have to give a lot to get more. You know, it's just one of those things. And so it would also provide lower crime rate and a higher rate of health and wellness for people. Education really does do all of those things and is super vital. So, how can we make this dream a reality? Because now it is a dream, and it's not a reality for everyone to be able to go to college. And I understand that. There's also trade schools, but those also cost money. So just providing tuition for students to receive some sort of education after school is so important so that they can make a success for themselves. The first step in making this reality, the federal government would need to consider putting a cap on those tuition costs. They continue to increase over the years, bogging all of us down, making all of us want to just run from college and get out and go make money somewhere else. And so by using the funds we currently use for amenities and gadgets and things that we don't necessarily need, and putting those towards tuition costs, we could really cover those costs for students. Also, a quote from Changing Universities, which is another blog that has lots of information, says, when we add the cost of tax breaks to the current level of state and federal financial aid for higher education, not only could the government pay for full tuition for undergraduate education for public universities and community colleges, but we could also pay for most graduate degrees at public universities. So, overall, today, I hope that you have a better understanding of why college is incredibly important, what factors go into making that college decision, what is keeping students from going to college, and how we can get that free tuition for students so that we can provide a better community, a better society, and break that generational poverty. So you know, there are already over 20 countries that provide free tuition to their students for public universities. This isn't a new thing. It's just something that our society has never done. But I believe that in the future we can do it because education is incredibly important to making our world a better place. And Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And I think this is the strongest weapon that we have against the fight against generational poverty.